After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Making his way into the cage. Representing
Cystic fibrosis is an inherited condition that affects the major organs. Mainly, in layman's terms, the mucus in the body is thicker than if you didn't have CF, and that causes in itself problems with blockages or infection.
You get a chest condition called bronchiectasis, you get pancreatic problems and digestive problems. A lot of people growing up with cystic fibrosis also have some bone problems as well. So it affects many organs in the human body, and it's genetically inherited.
But certainly in Aaron's case, everything he can put into his care, he does, and I think that is really to his advantage.
We as a family and friends and Aaron have never let cystic fibrosis control Aaron. Aaron controls his cystic fibrosis.
As a kid, I loved football, enjoy sports, whatever sports it was, you know. I was in football team, rugby team, athletic team, it was just sports, competition. In secondary school, I got called up to a professional club. Was playing for them for 4 years, captain of the team, top goal scorer, got in the Welsh side, so I was playing for country internationally. And when it comes to giving out contracts, they didn't give me one because I had cystic fibrosis. They said it was too much of a risk. It hurt at the time, but it just made me stronger and something that made me more determined to go and do well.
It was purely because of his condition, we thought, and so did he. But when he moved to MMA, it was a transition from team to individual, which I think Aaron enjoyed.
From that day, Aaron's decided that I'm not going to let somebody else decide my destiny. I'll choose it myself. With the MMA or fighting in the ring, he says I'm in control. I don't have to wait for somebody to pick me. I don't have to be in the right place at the right time. I pick myself. I'm in control. It's my destiny.
He's got a lot of support, everyone. I mean, my family, his family, all his friends, you know, they're all really supportive of everything that he does, really.
We all had enzyme tablets at our house, so if he come round for tea after school, then he'd have supply there, so he can carry him round, and if he just popped in for like a snack, say a yoghurt, he'd have to put the enzyme in his yoghurt.
He used to miss days out in school, and he used to come back with tubes in his arm. But once again, like, we just took him how he was, and like, he was kind of the leader of the pack anyway, so we didn't know what to do with him when he wasn't in school.
If I haven't been well, I'll have my physio. But if I'm well and I'm training in the mornings, I want to have my physio because the gym's going to do what my physio would do. So I wake up, have my shake, start making my breakfast. As I'm doing that, then I start taking my tablets and having my nebulizer.
Aaron, principally you're affected by your chest, which is always very good, but is there, isn't it? And you do need occasional tablet antibiotics and very, very occasional intravenous antibiotics. Historically, that was about it in you until about last summer, wasn't it, when you had a really severe bowel blockage that caused bowel problems and you had to have an operation for that. And bowel problems are common in cystic fibrosis. They weren't particularly common in you.
And then they came down and said that the operation was successful, but they took out 2 foot of his colon and the opening was bigger than what they thought. But, you know, he was well at that time and it went well. And then we had complications after that.
Some complication caused his lungs to collapse, and that's when he ended up in high dependency.
I thought I was going to die at the time. You know, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't walk. Everything I did was painful.
Being hit so hard physically during and after the operation, and struggling post-operatively with the condition that had affected him, it was important to be positive with him and to keep him focused to get him through that really difficult period.
It was bad to see him in that way, but the time that I seen him, he lost a lot of weight, but knowing the person that he is, it's you know, you kind of know he's going to pull through it. He's got like the strength, the will and mind to be able to pull through situations, even as bad as what that was.
You know, he wasn't his normal self, but he was still Aaron, you know, he was still very positive, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll be fine. So it was good to see that, it was good to see him, you know, so positive, and still just basically wanted to get out of hospital. It was just like, oh yeah, I want to get out and get back training. It was like, whoa, one step at a time.
In a way, it put things into perspective, because I was really nervous about this fight coming up, and then, you know, I've got my mate there who's in a critical condition in a hospital, and he's fighting through it, and I go in to see him and he's talking about training, and he's laying in a hospital bed, and I'm thinking, you know, this kid's tough. You know, I knew he was going to come through it because he's just got that mentality. He just doesn't quit. He won't quit. That's it. Simple as that. He just doesn't quit.
I remember one night I had a conversation with my dad, and I remember this conversation was probably the first conversation I remember. He was like, you know, we got to fight through it. You're going to be better. You've got to start getting better. Start believing you're getting better, and then you'll actually get better. So I remember that conversation, because that's when I thought, yeah, you're right. Each day I started getting better, started remembering more, wanting to start to walk again.
Aaron had a tagline idea which he wanted to attach to his fights, which was fighting to breathe, based on the fact that every day of his life is a fight to breathe, which I thought was really apt at the time. So we were in hospital after his operation, and I was in there with him one day, and he was having one of those days where he was really struggling, and I just looked at him and said, son, no better terminology than fighting to breathe right now. At which point he looked at me and said, Dad, I don't think I've got any fight left in me. I said to him, son, that's the morphine talking. I said, if you start to believe that you'll get better, those things will start to happen. So from right now, you start to believe that you'll get better, and day by day you will. And together, we'll get you better, we'll get you back in the gym, and we will get you back in that octagon.
And that's what he has done as well. He's got back and just kind of enjoyed his training, and then was pestering me saying, I want to fight every single week. How can you sort me if I can sort me? So, you know, we've got an amateur bout set up for him. So we'll see how he does there.
I thought he'd come back, but I didn't think he'd be back in the gym as soon as he was, and I didn't think he'd be putting his name down for a real fight as soon as he was. You know, the speed in which he recovered, and you know, he recovered and he got back in the gym, and it was like he hadn't been away. You know, everything was still the same.
One doctor said to me, it's lucky because you're healthy and you're fit, but like my answer was, well, it's not lucky. You know, I've worked hard to be that healthy and fit, but they questioned whether I'd be able to train again, fight again. Will you fight again? You know, you might not be able to get back to the fitness again.
His lungs recovered remarkably in quicker time than they'd ever known, and it's a testament to every hour, to every minute, every day that he's kicked the ball, run a mountain, lifted a weight, his whole life.
They did the first physio for him and he wanted to do more. Then they came and did a second lot of physio, and they said, right, he said, I don't need you to help me. He did it by himself. It was just crazy, you know, to see him. It was crazy to think, oh my God, look at him now. This is Aaron.
I don't know many people that could have pulled through that like he has done. And not only that, when he's in the gym now, he seems to have got better than before. I don't know whether the time out or the rest, you know, maybe he's built some brain cells while he's been out and had a few months off, I don't know, but he seems more technical now than he was before the operation.
One of the people that operated on me said to me before the operation, you know, you're going to have to change his profession. He's not going to be able to fight, he might have a bag. So it was a low point in my life, but something that has challenged me and again made me stronger and more determined to get back doing stuff that I'm doing. That's what this fight is all about in March, is getting back to where I was, enjoying it, proving that you can bounce back quicker than anyone expects. And you know, by getting in there with all the support and help I've had, family, friends, training partners, is something that I aim to use as a positive influence and show others as a positive influence. You know, you can bounce back.
Every time he steps into the octagon, from my perspective, it's about every fight and every battle that we've had as a family since the 7th of the 2nd, 1990. Every time we've been to the hospital, every up, every down goes into that octagon with him. And in my mind and his family's eyes, win, lose or draw, it does not matter. What actually matters is that he got in there.
So to see someone flourish like this, you know, physically is, yeah, definitely a good example to so many.
Fighting on behalf of Cystic Fibrosis. This man is a mixed martial artist, standing 5 feet 6 inches tall, fighting under the MMA Academy in Wrexham, Aaron
Aby's fighting for cystic fibrosis. He actually has cystic fibrosis himself, so he fights to try to raise awareness and money for the cause, which is very admirable. And he's free now as well, so...
Oh wow, I mean, isn't that cool? You know, it just goes to show that no matter what your ailments, you still can succeed on whatever you try, and this man is doing it.
And that's a look at that, just how fast things can change. And then he has... And Aaron once again relentless, backs Chris up against the cage, and he's looking... And it's only a matter of time, and there it is.
He's going to be scoring with his takedowns, Brad. Wow, this fight is just non-stop, Brad.
Aaron is relentless in these takedown attempts.
Takedown after takedown, the judges will be seeing this. Well, the crowd are now shouting for Aaron Aby. He is in half guard. Now down the side.
He's got a leg, and there you go. Simply relentless. Aaron stands up with his hands raised, looking very, very happy.
After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. The winner by unanimous decision, Aaron